colleagues present in this August body right now?
Madam Speaker, there's Senator Agun, Senator Rector, Senator Gothard, Senator Palacios, and Senator Ada. There is no quorum. There's only a total of 5, 6 plus yourself.
Yes, Senator Agun.
Point of information, Madam Speaker, just to recognize that several of our colleagues are presently off island, to include Speaker Judy Wampat, Vice Speaker B.J. Cruz, Senator Eddie Calvo, Chairman of the Committee on Rules and Majority Leader Senator Rory Spicio. And I also understand, and please correct me if I'm mistaken, Senator Telo Taitui also. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Agun. And as soon as we get a quorum, we'll proceed. If I can have the Sergeant of Arms, please check with the rest of our colleagues so that they can come into the House. Yeah. Are we on, Eddie? Iminatrenta na legislatura in Guam session is called to order. At this time, Acting Majority Leader Gutherts, please move to adopt today's session.
Madam Speaker, I move to adopt today's agenda,
Special session.
special session agenda.
With no objection, motion carries. At this time, we are at prayer. I'd ask that Senator Ben Pangilinan, former Speaker, please assist in our prayer for this afternoon.
Pangahulo todos, por favor. Kinanitata lahinya ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Diyos, Tata, hago ni munayam, oportunidad para binsetbi tao-tao mo. Ingagagaw na un babay inasun mami, ikurason mami, ikanay mami para bensegwi todo itsetso, para esti tautauta, tautaugahan, ni naimu para sinya binfanak kumprindi. Ingagagaw na un gia lokui i goberno, ja u siguro na offer ileleng niya, edzigi para utsogwi. Eno ingagagaw sa eno at okwi in keketsegwi, gwini gipisun esti legislatura. Ingagagaw ho, to starta na unaiham ni i klinaro na hinasu ni para binsegwi mo na para i mas maulik ni sin ininasinyan mami para itaw-tawgahan itaw-taw mo. Eno ing gagagaw gininitsetsu i lai mo as Jesus dan ias nanaw mo as Maria. Ginanitata lahinya dan Espiritu Santo. Amen.
At this time, I'd like to ask my brother Senator Frank Blas to lead us with the Inafresi.
Ginini mastakilo gihina soko. Imastakilum gi corazonhu. Dani mas figo na ni sinahu. Uhu fresin maisa jo para bayu protehi. Jahu defendi. I hinengi, i kultura, i lenguahi, i airi, i hanum jani tano tomoro. Ni eren soku diretsu ginini jo stata. Este hua filma gihilo i Biblia. Jani banderahu I benderangwahu.
I'd ask that my colleague Senator Tom Atta please lead us in the Guam hymn. This time I'd ask my colleague Senator Tenorio to share with us the national anthem with the help of Senator Frank Blas.
Oh, see, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Si Diyos Masi. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd have the clerk take roll call, please.
Senator Ada. Here. Senator Uggan. Senator Blas. Here. Senator Calvo, Senator Cruz, Senator Espadon, Senator Gutherts, Senator Munya Barnes,
Tagia.
Senator Palacios, Senator Pangilinan, Senator Rector, Senator Respicio, Senator Tactagui, Senator Tenorio, Speaker Wampet. Madam Speaker, I wish to report there is a quorum.
Thank you very much, Clerk. Right now, Acting Majority Leader Senator Gutherts.
Madam Speaker, there are no communications and petitions at this time under sections V11 and V111.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, there is a message from the governor calling the legislature into a special session, and it is moved to append the governor's message and the attachments to today's daily journal.
Madam Speaker, can we have the clerk read the message from the governor, please?
At this time, thank you, Senator Gutherts, thank you, Senator Tenorio. At this time, I'm going to ask that the clerk please read the letter from the governor and it's in its entirety. Clerk?
From the governor dated 23rd March 2009, the Honorable Tina R. Munoz Barnes, Acting Speaker, Mina 30 Legislature ng Guahan, 30th Guam Legislature, 155 Hessler Street, Hagåtña, Guam 96910. Dear Acting Speaker Munoz Barnes, Hafade, I humbly request the Guam Legislature immediately address the attached legislation which will allow the government of Guam to issue bonds backed by Section 30 revenues to fund the opening of a sanitary landfill and the closure of the Ordo dump. As you know, these actions are directed by U.S. District Court Order number 02-00022 and are critical to protecting the health and safety of our people and our environment. I must reiterate to you and the members of Imina 30 Legislature ng Guahan that the events of the last few weeks have put us still further behind in our effort to approach financial markets for any bond issuance. In addition to national and global financial concerns, Guam will now have additional challenges in this process as we must disclose what the U.S. District Court has classified as blatant noncompliance with the court's requests and the enforcement of the court's cash funding schedule dating to February 13, 2009. I am confident this revised legislation will appease the court, hopefully resulting in the suspension of 1 million weekly payments and avoiding other demands from the court. These actions should allow us to move forward with a financing plan and avoid disruptions in credit ratings as well as negative disclosures. The executive branch has been clear in its effort to comply with the consent decree. Prior to the consent decree, 2 generations of political leaders have chosen different policy directions to comply with the Clean Water Act. Upon the signing of this agreement, 2 consecutive legislatures have taken different paths to address funding for the Ordo dump closure in the annual budgets. During the last 5 years, we have remained committed to closing the Ordo dump and opening a new landfill. My administration still stands ready to address this decades-old challenge once and for all. This financing option is a crucial step in this long-delayed process and must be acted upon as quickly as possible. At a time when our fragile economy is reflecting global and national economic problems, our island and our government cannot afford additional financial burdens, especially those that can be avoided. Your deliberate action on this proposed legislation may suspend court-mandated payments and ensure we do not endanger critical public services. Such action will show your collective commitment to the opening of a new landfill, and your leadership will ensure forward movement on this important issue. In order to address the urgent matter, public interest requires that a special session be convened to act on the attached legislation. I, Magalahing Guahan, Governor of Guam, by virtue of the authority invested in me by the Organic Act of Guam, as amended, and the laws of Guam, call special session of the legislature on Tuesday, March 24, 2009 at 2:00 p.m. Thank you in advance for your cooperation. Sincero San Magahid, Felix P. Camacho y Magalainguahan, Governor of Guam. You want to read
Yes,
the title?
please read the title.
Bill number 1-S, introduced by Committee on Rules, Natural Resources, Federal, Foreign, and Micronesian Affairs by request of Imagalahinguahan in accordance with the Organic Act of Guam. An act to amend and restate Article 8 to Division 2 of Chapter 51 of Title 10 Guam Code Annotated relative to authorizing the Government of Guam to issue solid waste management system revenue bonds or Section 30 limited obligation bonds for the purpose of financing facilities of the solid waste management system of Guam and approving the terms and conditions of the issuance of one or more series of such bonds pursuant to such article to pay the cost of a new landfill and the closure of the Ordo landfill and other system costs, and to amend and restate Article 9 to Division 2 of Chapter 51 of Title 10 Guam Code Annotated relative to authorizing the Government of Guam to enter into a lease and a lease back for the purpose of financing facilities of the solid waste management system of Guam and approving the terms and conditions of such leases pursuant to such article to pay the cost of a new landfill and the closure of the Ordo landfill and other system costs.
If there are no objections, none carried, motion carries. Senator Guthert, you're recognized on standing committees.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there are no reports of standing committees at this time.
Senator Guthert on select committees.
Madam Speaker, there are no reports of select committees at this time.
Again, Senator Guthert, you're recognized.
Madam Speaker, I'd like to move that Bill number 1-S be given its first reading.
On that motion, without objection, motion carries.
Madam Speaker, I also move to officially excuse Senators Judy Wampat, B.J. Cruz, Roy Respicio, Eduardo Calvo, and Telo Taitugui from today's session. They are off island.
Senator Blas.
Madam Speaker, I also like to move that we also excuse Senator Jimmy S. Baldon. He's got a family funeral.
On that motion, no objections, motion carries. Senator Guthert, you're recognized.
Madam Speaker, I move to place Bill 1-S, an act to restate Article 8 to Division 2 of Chapter 51 of Title 10, Guam Code Annotated, relative to authorizing the Government of Guam to issue solid waste management system revenue bonds or Section 30 limited obligation bonds for the purpose of financing facilities of the solid waste management system of Guam onto the second reading file.
Are there any objections? No objections, so ordered. Senator Guthert, you're recognized.
Madam Speaker, I move to place Bill number 1-IS on the third reading file with discussion. 1-S, I'm sorry, for discussion.
Senator Guthert, before, can you please work with the concurrences and the consent calendar?
The consent calendar. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Madam Speaker, I move to skip items XIV, legislative concurrence, and item XV, consent calendar, and proceed to second reading file.
Are there any objections? No objections, motion carries.
All right.
Senator Guthert.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I move Bill 1-S on the third reading file with discussion.
With that being said, as the clerk has read it and reaffirmed as Majority Leader, everyone's received a copy. I'm going to call for a 2-hour recess so that everyone can look over the bill. It's a 35-page bill, recess till 4 o'clock. Back into order. We're going to go, it's about 5:30 right now. We're going to go ahead and recess till 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. No objection? Motion carries.